He was the commander of a vast, shadowy army, an underground network of conspirators dedicated to the overthrow of the state. Outside the studio, I've downloaded a free open source voice clone. And what it's doing is it's making a clone of my voice, not with hours and hours of content, but with like a minute of content, which is crazy. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Marty. I'm a sound engineer and an audio producer based in Sydney. And I mainly work in the world of audiobooks and podcasts. So it might seem a little strange that someone like me is playing around with these tools, these voice clones, because I record like actual people every day. Although I guess the purpose is just to keep myself informed and also to keep like people that are watching this video, I guess, informed as to the potential for these tools, because they are getting incredibly good. I've got a few tests to show you. The main things that in this video I want to focus on is one, like what are the benefits that I can see using these tools for self-publishers, for people that are doing an audiobook and wanting a premium product. And that leads us on to the next point. Can self-publishers and authors, people that are interested in making an audiobook, can they produce a premium product? Something that sounds as good as a human with this technology? And the final point is, like, what do you get when you do come into a professional studio that does this all the time? Because I guess it might not be what you think it is. So what's the benefit of using like this voice cloning technology? Well, let's go through it. So what I'm using is again, it is free. I guess that's the first point. It is absolutely free. You can there are a whole bunch of open source voice clones out there. I'm using Vox CPM 2. I've heard that it's the best at emulating a human voice. And so I was curious, and one of the things that is a benefit to people who have no coding experience, just ask Claude to help you do this, because you won't be able to do it without Claude if you don't have any sort of coding background. If you use Claude will just break it down step by step exactly what you need. So that's what I did. I went through, got Vox CPM 2, and I'm now I've downloaded it and I've been playing around with it. And I guess because my background is a sound engineer and producer in audiobooks, I was trying to make something that was very lifelike. And there's a whole range of applications for these tools, but that was what I was doing. One of the things I should mention about Vox CPM 2 is you do need certain specifications on your computer. I'm using Windows, and Windows is working pretty well. I believe you can do this on a Mac as well, but don't quote me on that. I don't know. So here's some examples of what I've done so far. I've just taken a few excerpts from 1984 because I thought it was kind of funny and ironic that it's so dystopian that a sound engineer is cloning his own voice. Anyway, you get it. So here's a sample. People simply disappeared, always during the night. Your name was removed from the registers. Every record of everything you had ever done was wiped out. Your one-time existence was denied and then forgotten. Here's another. He was the commander of a vast, shadowy army, an underground network of conspirators dedicated to the overthrow of the state. It's incredible, right? It sounds so good. Just reading a free tool can sound that good. Yeah. So you can get incredible results out of using these voice clones. But I guess I really do want to say that the reason I got such good results is, I'm sitting in it right now. So that is why it sounds so good, because it'll only give you what you give it. So that's really important. I might release online so you can see what a paragraph sounds like. But initial results were I was so impressed by what I heard. And that was just, again, that was me saying not much, maybe a minute's worth of dialogue, the exact same kind of cadence. It even gets the P's, the plosives. It gets I don't know how it does it. So I guess the benefit as well, which I should say about Vox CPM 2 and the other open source voice clones that you can download, is that they are local on your computer. They do not exist in a cloud or anywhere else. Everything is controlled by you. And I think for some people, well, I'll say for most people, that is incredibly valuable, knowing that, your voice files are controlled by you. So, to me, it was a no-brainer to just to test it. I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to upload it to a cloud. I'll just download it, keep it all local. And so the second point I want to say is, do I see a world where self-publishers, they get a premium product out of these tools? And the answer, I believe, is no. You're not going to get a premium product out of this. And I'll show you why. I'll give you a few examples. And it's not just the sound quality. So here's what it also produced.
It was apparent that she was uttering a prayer. At this moment, the entire group of people broke into a deep, slow, rhythmical chant of "Bibi, Bibi" over and over again. He took a cigarette from a crumpled packet marked Victory Sicarities and incautiously held it upright. The seconds were ticking by. He was conscious. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. But a woman down in the prole part of the house suddenly started kicking up a fuss and shouting, "They didn't oughta have showed it not in front of kids. They didn't, it ain't right, not in front of kids. It ain't until the police turned her out. I don't suppose anything happened to her. Nobody cares what the proles say. Typical."
Ah, yikes. It sounds terrible, right? There's a bunch of those as well. It doesn't generate everything perfectly. The way that this tool works is it works best if you only feed it 10 to 15 seconds at a time. So you're basically talking one line at a time. And then there is a way that you can automate a book, so you can put it into chunks and it will just render overnight. There is a way you can do that, but it's not foolproof. The workflow to produce this is so incredibly alien to a traditional audio recording process. You get to a studio, you open up Pro Tools or whatever other door that you're using, someone sits in the booth and you press record and you go stop when you make a mistake, go back, do a punch and roll. That is how the process works. And with this, you are basically working with an AI agent like Claude, and you're creating a book with a tiny sample of audio, even though it's high quality, but you don't have any way of really telling it what to do. And one of the ways, part of the audiobook recording process is direction of an actor or the self-publisher or whoever's recording in the studio. And that is incredibly important to the process, because that's where you get different takes of things. You cannot replicate that process very well with these tools. Like, you can regenerate after finding like the chunk that, or the file that failed, or that sounds terrible. But you're going to spend way more time doing that than if you just went into a studio and recorded it, or like, bought a $100 USB microphone and like sat in your closet and recorded your audiobook. It's so different. And if you're not a computery type of person, then, it's going to be a struggle. And I want to emphasize that what I'm talking about is not like the books that you can make, in like a second on like software like 11 Labs that are obviously not premium. I'm talking about whether these things can rival a voice actor. And to me, in this day and age, this is the closest that you're going to get right now. I guess this leads on to my next point is like, what do you get when you go into a studio and record? Because I got to tell you, it's not just the audio that people go into a studio to record for. Like, the audio is not really the reason that people go into a professional studio to, especially like if they're using a producer to do their book. When you go into a professional space that it's going to be excellent. What you're really paying for is the time efficiency and the promise that this book will be delivered on time, and it will be delivered in a way that you can sell as fast as possible. That's what people really pay for, like the organization of everything. But you must understand that the audiobook process is not just about the audio. It's got so many layers to it. The success of your book relies on it standing out, not fitting in to, the thousands of books that are now being produced, like probably every hour that these clones and other tools are being used. And if you want the best chance especially if you're planning to record your own voice, the best chance of success that you have is still working with people that know the process and know how you feel about your book. But when you work with someone like me, you also work with someone like Maria, who is a writer, who understands what you've gone through for however long that you've written your book. It's about the audio being great, the time that it takes to do it, which is usually pretty quick, and the understanding that you get from other humans that know the writing process. So you're not just working with an engineer, you're working with people who understand where you're coming from and will show you through the production process and give you the best chance of success with your book. Where people fall down with audio recordings, and especially audiobook recordings, is the organization of the files and the post-production process of it all. That's where people get stuck. And I've seen people get stuck for years in that, only to turn around and say, hey, look, Marty, can you just fix this? Can you fix this problem that I've made? And so I appreciate like the entrepreneurial spirit of people that want to do this as cheaply as possible. But it just depends. It depends how much time you have to work on this. Audiobooks are just really personal, and audiences are incredibly fickle when it comes to books. You still have to, someone still has to listen to these books. That's the problem. Someone still has to sit down and hear them, because at the end of the day, your customers are going to be listening to this book, and how much you care about the audio matters. So that's the reason why I don't think it'll ever be a premium audio experience, because it is a lot more nuanced than I guess you think it is, especially when you get to the post-production stage and you have to make a product out of it. that sounds even, that sounds like a story. Because that's what we do. We tell stories at the studio. We don't record audio. Not really. We record really good audio, but like we tell stories. So I hope that kind of shows people, and I hope this information is valuable to you as to what to expect, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there looking at this technology being like, oh, this is the answer to my problems, but it does just create more problems, especially if you don't know what you're doing. It's not something that I would recommend for your book. I don't see traditional recording going anywhere anytime soon, especially when you can still deliver results that are premium and that you can only do in a studio. If you like this video and want to see more, please like, subscribe, and share. I'll be making more video content as we progress throughout the year, and good luck to wherever you're at on your audio journey.